Welcome back, folks, to another Atlanta review, episode 5 of season 3, Cancer Attack. And this episode is back to our main crew. For all the folks that was like, I'm tired of all the other extra stuff and whatnot. Whatever. We're back to the main crew now. Paperboy is getting ready to go on stage on his tour now in Budapest. But there is a bunch of random things happening right now. But the biggest predicament is that after leaving the stage, he realizes his cell phone is missing. And that just takes everybody on the craziest whirlwind of very, very funny things. This whole first 48 segment that kind of went on and whatnot. But man, so I mean, I think the best way to kind of go into this is that let's talk about socks here.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He took the phone and then disposed. First of all, he was wilding the entire episode. And
yeah,
I think there's something to be made of this. You know what I mean? Like they always say the one who's trying to do the most is typically the one that either isn't about shit or did that shit.
Right.
Which we saw him almost drop the N-bomb. He was ready to go in there and you know, basically press out Wally.
Wally get canceled.
Yeah, pretty much. But he was the one fronting the most, saying, he'll do what he gotta do. He's doing all the checking and whatnot, but he was the one that took it. Well, I mean, like, what is your thoughts as to why he would have taken the phone?
I'm thinking back to what are we on? I'm thinking back to like episode 3. I want to say I think it was episode 2 or 3 when they had the Nando's. Remember, I mean, he was at that party. I mean, that's where they met the guy at. So we really didn't know too much about him. But I wonder if this is some type of retaliation from, Paperboy trying to cut that man tree and they dipped out and he was just in the car. You know what I mean? So I wonder if that has something to do with that. It was some type of retaliation, or maybe he did think he legitimately was going to get away with it, or he had the phone, he was holding it for him or something, and it just got out of hand to the point where, he had to chuck it. You know what I mean? So there was no way that he's gonna get kicked off that tour. He had that phone, but that's my only theory. Is like right now is that maybe he's working with the guy that got the tree cut. I don't remember if they said his name or not. I think they did, but
yeah, and that was funny as I know.
It's wild, man.
First of all, to kind of go back a little bit, Superfan Wally, he's also, so I know I've seen him before, and I kept thinking, he was in the show Pennyworth, which is actually really good. Pennyworth, the DC Comics, on for Alfred Pennyworth. Jack Wilde, he played in it. Dude's pretty talented, but this was a absolutely different side of his acting, and from the musician side of him singing, but also just how he was able to like really bounce around with all these different emotions, like the very obsessed stan of a fan,
right?
To the point that like even him going through this whole first 48 thing, and he's like, I need to make my call. When he said his number, it was Paperboy's number. What sign they were. It was just a lot going on with that, and I was just entertained at that. I just couldn't stop laughing because of just how silly it was. But and then the cancer, the basically the Make-A-Wish Foundation, as the kid was making his wish and wanting to meet Paperboy. My man Paperboy gifted him a bottle of Hennessy White.
That's what I thought that was. I thought it was. I was like, that's not Hennessy, right? Like I thought it was like some juice or something, or some. I'm like, no, come on, man. Anything for Paperboy. And stop dying for Paperboy.
He definitely was like, go ahead and take this Hennessy White, man.
Did we miss a part where Paperboy just became like this big thing? You know what I mean? Like I feel like from season 2, like. We were still kind of like getting there, and now we out here performing on stage, which we never see Paperboy perform like ever. You know what I mean? Like they almost keep that separate from the show. We never see him perform. We never see him rap. But I was just trying to figure out when did he get like this notoriety to him, like that he's just that big. You know what I mean? Like this kid with cancer is like, nah, don't save me. I gotta help Paperboy. Like yo. Did the cancer kid take your phone? Nah, man, he ain't got it.
I mean, to be honest, I don't think I need it. the whole build up of him getting to this point. I mean, first of all, him being overseas is always going to get a little bit of extra notoriety because he's American and he's rapping, he's black and pop culture, and it's such a big, oh my god, black rapper. They love it, glorified it, which is all the different tropes that he's been experiencing this entire trip. So it just works. But yeah, at the same time, it is kind of funny about some of their responses to some of these things. And yes, this cancer boy who they assumed had the phone, then they said he had to be emergency. He had a cancer attack. Aaron was like, "What? That is not a thing." And he frisks him on camera, and he's like, "All right, he doesn't have it." So, but it was funny. It's like anything for Paperboy and whatnot. So,
man, you think, man? Like I always thought about Make a Wish, and I mean, of course, they try to do what's within their power, man. But people be asking for the most crazy things. Like I'm not asking to meet my rapper, but I mean, you a kid. I mean, that's probably the limit to your imagination at the time. Like, I got to see Paperboy. But hey, for this kid to know who he is definitely shows that he's bigger than what I think that he was going to be going from season 1 till now. So yeah. That's
and I'm not mad at it. I mean, like it should be that way. I want to see the success story here, and not just the like, oh well, it didn't work out and whatnot. But yeah, but while they're in Europe and everything Ern has worked for in terms of being his manager, it's good to see the payoff to all of this and whatnot.
Right. Yeah, he's definitely working. I mean, you could definitely see just from this episode that the change in Ern as far as like his professionalism as a manager and completely giving himself to his cousin, just to the point where he's not even thinking about himself anymore. You know what I mean? It's, when they had that brief conversation, it's like, yo, you good? He's like, yeah, man. I'm working.
Yeah, it's working. Yeah, that was definitely a little awkward too. I mean, I was just kind of trying to feel the dynamic. I mean, yes, while Ern is clearly working, he's also just been thinking about Van this entire time.
Who is walling the entire time?
Yeah, yeah. Van is just giving him the "okay, I'm done" type of thing. Very short answers. He's out here blowing her up. I think he's like his ratio is 7-1 in terms of message sent to message received. So he's not doing good, but like, I guess he's staying focused because he's just like, well, and on to next. But I'm just very curious about like, where does this go for Socks? Because dude is definitely on one. And
yeah, he's definitely a plant. And I don't know why. I mean, it's probably because he doesn't have any hair. And he's just mad, but as we revealed in the last episode, he need to keep that hat on.
Yeah.
But you said earlier, like, why did he take that phone? And we get the moment in the episode where Paperboy reveals, like, look, he been in this slump for like the last 7 months, and that material he had was all he had. Phone being taken aside, I do think this is going to be the push that he needed to kind of jump into new material. And be able to start hearing himself again. Like I said, he recorded himself and he was able to finally hear himself for the first time in a long time, and he was bumping to it. So I think this is going to have him back in tune to, I guess musically, to be able to produce that new content.
Yeah, Darius was pretty quiet this episode. Not too much for him. Just kind of co-signing around. And
Matt, man, I really thought that Matt was going to lead to the phone. I really they kept like hitting that. And like I said, I did not expect my man Socks to have it, but it's always that rat in the group, man, to come out of nowhere. And what are you gonna do with this? But
right.
I really want to know where that map was gonna lead. That's the most disappointing thing for me. I thought it was gonna be the treasure or something like.
So while all these episodes seem to always have like some deeper undertone to it, what do you think was the one for this?
Obviously, taking the moment to see people, you know what I mean? It's not always what you think. And as the kid, he is a big fan, and I mean, like, he was given the time and I guess the platform to show Paperboy how he really is, and for whatever odd reason, he seemed to know a lot of information about Paperboy, because like he said, they're a lot the same. They had the same birthday, day, whatever, which really put they thought that he was on the radar. But like I said, just stopping to see people. That's what I think the message is here. As clear as it could be, and you don't trust everybody, man.
Yeah,
can't trust everybody like that. Like, I'm not. Like I said, I guess we'll get it later on in the season, but Man, that dude gonna get his. Like,
yeah. And I also think like Wally, like like I said, he's the stands of the world, stalking his favorite rapper or artist, and knowing everything about Paperboy. I mean, so many different hilarious moments while they were trying to interrogate him, and Paperboy's just clearly frustrated, just trying to get his phone back. But I thought it was also really funny too when they were talking about his age, and they was just like, "Yo, is he 18 or 32?" And then his would have been his uncle was like, "I ain't seen him in 15 years. The last time I seen him, he was in some type of male police custody or some sort, some juvenile facility or whatnot." Right. And he's like, "So what? You really don't know?" No, he's technically a stranger to you. It was just such the weirdest thing that just as more and more stuff just started to develop and whatnot. But at the end of the day, this was Wally's whole pitch, just to like leave an impact on Paperboy. Kind of left him kind of stuck on silly for a second, like what in the world has happened? Got a song played to him, all sorts of different things. I just couldn't stop laughing when he said he needed to make a call, and he started saying, "Paperboy, that's my phone."
I thinking about what you just said, Darius kind of taking a back seat. I really thought he was going to step up and kind of commune with the craziness here that was going on, and kind of mellow out the situation to figure it out. But as we know now, he legitimately didn't have the phone.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I mean, they suspected everybody but the people that was around him.
Yeah.
But I mean, the kid can sing.
Yeah,
that's the weird part.
And he also farts when under extreme duress.
my stomach churns when I'm nervous. I was kind of hoping they was kind of going to jack him up, but they need to smoke. And of course, the kid's pretty smart too, because he's like, "Yeah, you're probably trying to record me, right? You trying to get me to confess to something?" Like, they wasn't feeling that.
Yeah. Also, I should also mention them pretty much their depiction of English folks, and when they were in the very beginning. Too funny. But yeah, this episode didn't really have too much. It was just funny. Just the whole thing was about trying to get the cell phone here, and other little tidbits and whatnot.
I thought he had like some news on the phone or something, but little did we know, like he's recording music, on his phone that he had for whatever reason he didn't put in the cloud because he's listening to Darius.
Yeah.
and no find my iPhone, which would have made this so much simpler.
That's where Darius' input comes into this, making pretty much turning Paperboy into a conspiracy theorist about so many of the different things you don't do. So
right.
I don't know, but I guess we see what happens next episode. Next episode will obviously be. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, hopefully, we do stay on this course, like, because people for whatever reason is mad about those one-offs. They just like, oh, this is like the worst thing, but like it stays on course, and we see more of the kind of where this goes with Paperboy, and maybe we'll get a Van episode, just kind of something directly on her. And seeing what's going on, because she kind of just dumped her kid and went to another country. And she's like, "Oh, I need a vacation," because last we seen her, she was fired, she lost her job and everything. So she's kind of been wilding out after her and Ern finally just kind of split off. So definitely sweet.
And he out here just trying his hand left and right, trying to figure it out. But
for the most part, they just seem to be done with each other. I don't even think there's any like romantic interest there. I just think just general concern as friends.
6 messages in and not being and not getting a response. He's definitely still trying his hand here. Yeah,
they have a couple episodes where he kind of glances at her for a while, but I'm not seeing where. I feel like they kind of tried that road a couple of times. I don't see him going back down. She's like, "I got a boyfriend." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah. But did you see what those messages said, or did you?
No, it kind of went past kind of quickly, so I definitely didn't see it. Where's that?
All right, well, let me look at my notes real quick, because he definitely, and the biggest thing, like I said, it was definitely six messages of like, "Hey, like, you have not responded." So he says, "Hey, just checking on you. You just left in the middle, and I haven't heard from you. I'm worried. Please text back. Are we good? Are you good? It's been 6 days. Are you good? Thumbs up."
Right.
What do you call that?
I mean, you see what he originally wanted to say, so he trying to not like spark any malice there. You know what I mean? He was like, "Where the fuck are you?" You know what I mean? So spent 6 days. You just dipping. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm hoping to get a little bit more coverage on that going next episode, and hopefully we get Sock's ass off this bus. He is crazy as hell.
I mean, everybody's on high suspicion now because now they realize, like, hey, we can't trust anybody. They out here blaming the cancer kid.
Turn that iPhone on.
He's not doing that. It's too late. You ain't find your iPhone though. Ain't nobody just going to offer something to say like I'm going to start using that now. Also, Paperboy's Burberry shirt. I definitely need one of them.
Plus, wouldn't he still have a lock on the phone? Like, wouldn't he to find my iPhone aside, they still would have some type of code, right? It was an iPhone.
It don't matter. He don't have the phone. What are you talking about? The phone is gone. Don't matter that. It don't matter if it's a lock or not. The phone is gone at this point. And he's just, it's an L he's gonna have to take.
I'm just wilding because like I'm thinking about that, like, because how would the kid have gotten into the phone? How would Wally have gotten into the phone if it was a code or whatever? You know what I mean? I don't know if that was maybe it was just open and that was the case, but I'm not sure what the intent was to take his phone in the first place if it was locked or whatever, and all it was on there was just music. So
I mean, and I think it's pretty safe to say that there was no intent but to just have the phone be removed. To just throw it away, then that means like you obviously were just like, I'm getting rid of it. That's it. That's the point of it. He lost it, and it could be like small retaliation. And it was weird because he definitely right before they go on the bus, he's definitely just like, yeah, we cool. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? He basically was like it.
Thinking about this too, he seems to be in a situation where he keeps sparking shit off. Like, remember, he sparked that whole thing up against the Asian girl, against that whole racist comment that wasn't even really that serious. And so maybe that's just his character, man. He just like, sparking stuff off. So I think we're gonna see a little bit more of that. Yeah. just hating on the Asian girl for no reason. So
yeah, dude's a liability. That's for sure. And his whole temper don't fit with the flow of things. I mean, Paperboy can turn up, but he mostly is calm unless provoked. And this dude seems to just want to provoke everybody. And he's acting very nervous. Talk about the first 48 cigarettes and whatnot. I mean, with smoking, it was just and just it's just weird. But and I doubt it happens. But the phone could be recovered. You never know. The could ring, could make a noise. Somebody could do something. You just never know.
We ain't never gonna see that again. See that again.
On to the next. But yeah, he's not. He had no intentions on wanting to open the phone. He's just trying to get the phone off of Paperboy, and he threw it away. So that's just what it is. Ain't nothing else to it. So. But we're back. We'll be back next week. Next week episode is White Fashion. Can't read the synopsis to try to make of anything because even this week is the synopsis. Right. Sometimes shows just be over my head, acting fake deep. Where's the poop jokes? That's it. Literally has nothing to do with anything in this episode. So there's that. And the next week is even more insane. I definitely seen this before on a better show. They're always stealing ideas, but the fashion industry got to be exposed. Hashtag streetwear. So we'll see where that goes.
I feel like that's going to be a Darius episode.
Maybe. Or Van, like you said. Two folks that just don't, we want a little bit more. But it's only episode 6. This is episode 5. We got some time. We'll see. And we'll be obviously here reviewing and whatnot. So, folks, let us know in the comments your thoughts about tonight's episode, your favorite and funniest moments. What you think the overall theme was this episode? Like I said, there's always seems to be some type of message very intertwined into everything. Regardless of the events of the episode, there's always some type of, passive narrative going on here. And I think this was one that I think is one of those definitely got to keep an eye out on the folks you keep around you. You just never know. And I think that while they roll tight and everybody and everything seems copacetic, got a rat in the group, and gotta see what he may do next. And like you said, he's definitely has a couple of strikes in the not so good box from the previous episode. So we'll see what
all
happens.
this over some Nando's chicken.
Yeah.
All of this over. Crazy.
Pretty much.
It's not even that good. It's not
pretty much. But yeah, that'll do it for tonight, folks. We'll see you back next week for another review.
See you.